47 West Walnut. I was here about a year ago in regards to a business located behind my residence and the conditions that were going on there. 12 months and 2 petitions later, we have made headway on several fronts, some of them legally in a civil matter, others with enforcement, improved enforcement, and also the rectification of some issues occurring back there. But what we're still dealing with is a looming failure of a mode of transportation in and out of our borough. And to start looking at a bit of a broader picture of how people come here is a simple observation of seeing the people sitting at a waiting area at Beaver Tourways. We're all aware of, by now, what's going on with that company financially. We're well aware of where they're at legally and the things that are going to be occurring with the next coming weeks. And that's no exaggeration. Moving forward, you've all been contacted, not all of you, but most of you directly by me, in regards to the proposition of putting together an intermodal stop, one that in the future could be funded for, paid with grant money, federal, some private money, Aetna, a variety of them out there. There's a lot of money available. But the point being is moving forward at this moment, perhaps utilizing resources we already have throughout the college. I know Councilman Mace had been in touch with the college for something that would be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to a situation that is impending. And it's not a matter of opinion. This will coincide also with what is already developing as a housing surplus here in town, which is going to lead us to a position where we have more residents, not college-centric, not Main Street-centric, that will be needing transportation to and from our county seat, that will be needing services. And this is a broader viewpoint of a cross-section of life that perhaps Kutztown's not dealt with, but moving forward is one that we need to prepare for. These are not huge financial steps. These aren't huge regulatory steps. These aren't some sort of legislative nightmare. This is simple discussion, opening it up to the public so we can put ourselves on par with West Coastville or Hellertown that have public spots, along with Reading. We do not want to wind up the way Lancaster did, which went 4 months without public transportation, able to get them interstate travel back to New York. It took them 4 months to reestablish that. We cannot suffer that. And I would like to see a more public discussion begin about that and ways we can accomplish that goal, which is the true nature of civics here. I mean, this is not something that benefits everyone. It's not something that everybody's going to utilize. But in order to keep ourselves open to a market that we've not been, okay, we've been at the whims of a private industry now since its inception, 50 years plus. That there's a large market out there that we could appeal to simply by having a parking lot and saying, hey, here's a spot with a big enough turnaround area, and we talk to that market and talk with the Chamber of Commerce and see what they really need. What are these people looking for in a stop, in a simple stop? Thank you.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that would there be, whether it's private or some type of BARDA, some type of government entity, requirements would be the same? I mean, if we would be looking at what's needed just to find out from the transportation person's viewpoint, whether it is the same, whether it would be something like BARDA or if there would be another private bus company?
Okay, well, BARDA's already, servicing Lions. Okay, they're heading up Giorgio. They're in Lions Station right now. That run isn't very profitable for them. This is from the SCTA. This is from Dave Kilmer. Okay, and they're actually considering pulling it. Right now, they're not allowed to come to Kutztown because there's an existing structure, a business structure already here providing that service. That service is going to go away. Okay, the point is that we want to, in lieu of being able, and this is a discussion I had the other day with Mooney, was that being able to dictate or not dictate where these sorts of activities occur is to get in touch with the industry at large, with the greater area Chamber of Commerce. Not with individuals. We don't have to cut deals with somebody to come here. We have to look at what do they need? What sort of space allotment? What kind of ridership do we already have? But getting transportation to and from our county seat would be easiest done through BARDA. But we know what has to happen before they can come here. But once they can, And this could be just as simple as a conversation with the college, allotting an area near the armory for now, which would be a temporary fix in the future.
Well, I think there was discussion in talking about the university about there's parking at the university that's not being used that's very easy to get to from the street. So I think there was discussion about maybe turning that into a stop area, a park and ride kind of area.
Sure, because I mean, even if we were, I mean, I proposed the idea of 512 East Main, and understandably so, even jumping into it as is would require, I mean, at minimum right now, you know, snow maintenance. So it's the kind of thing we really want to think about where we would place it if we were going to propose building or managing our own intermodal stop. But that's going to require discussion. It's going to require justification to taxpayers saying, why are we doing this? Okay, there's people there. People utilize motor coaches to get to and from the cities, Philadelphia, New York, often. We could be a hub for people who want to come from surrounding regions, from the Ole region, Kempton, who could come here, park, and ride. There is a surrounding commerce that would, you know, that would come from that. It may not seem like much as these particular events that occur, but that would be daily. That would get people here. They're looking around. They're seeing, oh, well, we're here. It gets people here. And choosing that location, if we're going to go through that process, it's not something I want to be done overnight. I want to have ourselves prepared for something that's going to come overnight, which is going to be the loss of this service. I mean, right now, the financials, which everybody's aware of, or they should be by now because they're in the paper, and there will be more of it, is something that's going to come overnight. So when we're prepared for that, these people are going to be here. If we don't, you're going to see companies like Bolt Bus, Megabus, who will be doing like crowdsourcing type of drop-offs on Main Street. They'll be dropping off people wherever. They'll be using our municipal lots, you know, dropping people off with a poor turnaround radius, and it's not going to work out. GPS doesn't always work out with a motor coach. So, you know, let's, you know, just put up some very simple signage, you know, public notice. We got to the Greater Reading Chamber and say, hey, we cut a deal with the college for now, or something. But we're going to need to do something. And looking forward at that and looking at our growth and what we're going to have in the future, especially with a housing surplus, that market's going to adapt to where it can get income. We see that happening at Saucony Cross, how they're just changing up the layout on the interior. That's adaptation. And that's the free market, which will adapt. And we, as a municipality, borough, need to also adapt to that. We can do so not, you know, in a knee-jerk, not in a costly fashion, but to look at it honestly and to get in touch with the people in the industry who can let us know that, yes, indeed, we do need to make some choices in this. We're unique. We're unique in the fact that we've had a private industry dictate our interstate, you know, transportation for us for, you know, 50 plus years. There's no other surrounding region around here who can say that. So, you know, with the news what it is, and you know, I don't need to stress it, this is what I truly feel need to do and open up to public, you know, discussion so that the public can have some input, can be made aware of a situation, and can also have the say in what will probably be some, you know, tax dollars, and ultimately be at state, federal, local level being spent. It's a good idea to have everybody have a say in it if we're looking to make the civic response to what is going to be a problem.
Starting the conversation, who would you, you know, we all know that you have a certain passion for this issue. Who would you suggest we bring to the borough?
Honestly, the Greater Reading Chamber, with the SCTA, the Southern South Central Transportation Authority, which was BARDA until it merged with Montgomery County, I believe. Now they're South Central. Is it Dave Kilmer, who heads that up? Commissioner Barnhart, and also Commissioner Leinbach. You know, I mean, Commissioner Barnhart's a little bit more, you know, geared towards BARDA and whatnot. But they have the connections with people in the industry who can say, you know, again, we just, in marketing ourselves, we're not contracting any service. We're just saying, hey, we have a spot. And to just understand what the minimum requirements of that are, what are the numbers of ridership, and unfortunately, they're probably not out there. I mean, again, this isn't public information. Nobody sat down and has done any real commuter counting. It's on private property, so one can't really do that for the competition. So it's something that's going to come upon us. We're going to need to be able to adapt and kind of think on our feet a little bit. But getting this conversation starting and getting in touch with Greater Reading Chamber, I would say for a start, and with the, you know, county commissioners, because they're going to have the connections on that next level that we're going to need to do.
I'll just make sure that everybody's aware of this. I thought I mentioned this at the last meeting. We have been in contact with Gail Landis from the Greater Reading Chamber. I've talked with her a number of times. Sandy has talked to her a little bit. You might have something to say about that. They know they've been reaching out to
hope so.
And so you're right, what you said about not jumping into something, where we're left holding the bag, it's not something that I think this council wants to do. And that was expressed to me by the university as well, although they recognize the need. So they're on board with it as a need. No one wants to yet hold the bag. We're talking to the Greater Reading Council, and they are talking to PennDOT. And I've also been in touch with Southeastern Transit Authority. They understand what we want as well, and they promise some data. So some of those conversations are underway. There hasn't been a lot yet for it, but those things are happening, and I appreciate you pushing for it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I see the people firsthand. You know, and it's not. There's a lot of students on the Friday night leaving, Sunday night coming back. There's people. I mean, 15 to 20 people standing there. Those people aren't going to go away.
Yeah.
And that, adapting to that and what that experience is like for people is what helps shape that industry. Which, yes, it is a good idea. Public transportation is a good thing. I'm an advocate, but it's as long as the conversations are happening and people are aware of it, that this is. I mean, there's a lot more news out there, but it is getting faster and faster. And so, just to make sure the conversations are happening, I appreciate the work. Thank you.